Hello gamers, Pet here. It's 30 June 2018. This is the 55th season of Hat-Trick, and the week is 12, I believe. This is Zamolxe-Club, which is the football club that I'm managing in Hat-Trick. Hat-Trick is an online football manager game, and the story, I'm not going to tell you the whole story of me with this game, but basically I was playing this game full time from 2002 to 2007 when I lost my team because I had a player that was his defending skill was divine plus 5 or something like that. But anyway, as I've said, that's a story for another time. But basically, Hat-Trick was a big part of my life when I was young. I also started a forum which was called Raw Hat-Trick, which became the official Romanian Hat-Trick forum. And long story short, we ended up in 2007 having like 10,000 members. We had parties and meetups all over the country, and including yearly uh, meetup in Timișoara, my town, when that I was doing on the 15th of August, which was the forum's birthday. Basically, that was the main idea behind, and we had lots of fun, lots of I and I met lots of people who I'm still in talk today. Yeah, that's kind of great. But as I've said, that's a story for another time. But I was thinking like what weekly content I can do for the channel, to motivate myself. Like I've been busy with various things, so I wasn't able to make as much content as I would have liked, especially in the past 3 years actually, since I actually got a full-time job. So anyway, I was thinking like, I've been playing Hat-Trick more on and off. I've always, especially with this team, I've always come in to put in my team and check out the training and do transfers and so on. But lately, for the past 2 weeks, I've become a bit more motivated to log in into Hat-Trick daily and try up to talk up with people. It's not the same like in the past. I was kind of playing the game alone. But I kind of became a bit more motivated, and I even bought supporter. This is why I'm having my logo, and this is the equipment that I'm using, and so on. So let's actually, since this is the first episode, is going to be a little bit longer because I'm kind of like trying to do this introduction and so on, and then I will basically try to show up the tactics that I've used, what I plan to do, and so on. Probably weekly, maybe, but or maybe 2 weeks. Depends on how much updates I have. Sometimes things don't really happen that much, but as I've said, it's week number 12, so the season is going to end soon. It's only like two more games to be played, and then the season will finish. I'm on the fourth spot right now with 22 points. So even if I lose the last two games, I will not go on the fifth spot, which is a relegation spot where you are going to have to play what the hell is it called in English? Like a qualifying game, right? So if I lose, I relegate. But it was a pretty interesting season with a couple of new teams joining the league, a couple of good teams joining the league, and I do have some problems with the players. I will show you the players a little bit later. And if somehow those two guys lose, I will be able to go a little bit up. And my next game is with only for the game, and it's kind of like an interesting and weird team who has been playing pretty well and winning a lot of games surprisingly. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tough game. But let me actually show you my club. Overall, let's say. One thing that I also have to do soon is to update the the stadium, because lately I've been having like full on the total capacity is this, right? And it's been getting full, and if I upgrade the stadium, I will make more money, and that's money wise it's something that I'm been having some problems, and I will show you exactly what I plan to do. This is the staff that I'm using. Again, it's something that I set up and it's going to remain like this. There's nothing much management going on in these parts. Like the coach is still having passable leadership, and leadership is important when it comes with team spirit, because the team spirit is going to drop a little bit slower. Like right now, I am paradise on Earth, which is pretty good. But by the time that the next week comes, I will be probably around Delirious. So I have no problems like maybe when this guy will get to inadequate leadership, I will have to change it in order to keep this well or not. It depends. It doesn't matter that much right now. The fans is another page where I'm not really. I've been losing fans. Which it is something like one thing that you need to keep in mind is that Hat Trick is something like 20 years old. It's an old game, right? So a lot of the mechanics that are in the game they are high. Let's put them like this. There are a lot of things that could be improved, but that's not really the point. And it's also not. I'm not going to decompose the game itself and talk about game design and what they could improve. Even that it would be like I think it would be interesting to do at some point. Noting transfers on this page, I also see my old players that are getting listed on the transfer market because I get a little bit of money when I do that. And the finances, as you can see, it's a little bit problematic because next Friday, when the finance are going to be updated, if I'm below this number, which I am right now, I'm going to get a warning, and I have to get on the plus again. And the main problem why I'm having cash flow problem is because of the wages. They are pretty high, and I will show you exactly why. Uh, so let's actually see the players. This is the team. I'm a little bit excited because I was able to get a couple of really good players. And the first player that I'm going to show you is my goalkeeper, which is pretty young. His name is Pratik Kok, or however you pronounce it. And he's like really good at on keeper level. It's extraterrestrial, right? But another skill that the goalkeepers use are the defending, which he's brilliant, and then on set pieces he's natural. So he's a really good a good goalkeeper, and he's also popular. And I paid a shitload of money on him. He's like my highest transfer ever, right? Ever. It's a lot of money how much I paid for him. But the thing with the goalkeeper is that I buy it and I plan to keep him. He's 25. I kind of forgot the rules on how. I believe they age 1 year per season, I think, and a season it's something like 14 weeks, so plus 2 weeks of break. So what, it's like 3 seasons per year or something like that. So basically I will use this guy for at least 3 real life years, right? I won't have I won't plan on selling him anyway. And as you can see, he is getting a lot of stars. The latest game that I played today, and you can already see it, spoiler alert, is this one. I don't have, as you can see, 9 stars on average, even that I'm not really training stamina, and my players get very tired, and which is why my ratings are lower than normal. But he is really good. Another really good player, which I paid, I believe, also a lot of money, is this one, and it's a wing back. He's a little bit older, and I was looking at this and I was like, why is this a good idea that I bought this guy? Because it was very expensive, and I will have to change him in 1 year. I mean, it's not really required. The thing is that the players are losing stats when they get past 28, so it's not really a problem, and you will see it later. So I will again be able to use this guy until he's 33 or more, depends. But that's something, when he's about 31, I'm already starting to think of changing the players. So as you can see, he's extraterrestrial with outstanding winger, and he also has formidable playmaking. Even that, I'm not sure that a winger, even if I set him to offensive, he will contribute to the middle. So I'm not sure exactly what I was thinking when I bought it. Giacomo Pilon, he's a Titanic defender with a formidable winger. I've been having this guy since 2016, so actually it will be soon 2 years since I got him. As you can see, his total skill index right now is 49, but when I bought him, it was 87. So the stats are starting to get lower. So soon he will drop to supernatural, right? He's a little bit my third defender, so he's still my main guy. But on some places, on some matches, I started to play with only 2 defenders because the keeper is so good, and I can afford to do that. And I play a 2-5-3 formula, mainly because I want to get more wing, more middle, right? And my main defender is this guy, which I paid 77 million. And he's also starting to drop because he's also 28 years old. So I'm not really sure exactly. Like at one point, in about 3 seasons, 4 seasons, something like that, I will have to think again on changing the defenders. And that would be a little bit annoying. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out because in about 2 or 3 seasons, I'm planning on doing something else, or maybe sooner. I will show you exactly what. But this is a mythical defender, and the weird thing is that his salary, I mean, it's not weird, but his salary is really, really big. So he's one of the problems, right? And you will see it later because I was thinking like, I was looking on buying Titanic or extraterrestrial players, and I was like, okay, let's buy a mythical because the difference is not really that high. But this is really costing me on other parts, right? Another midfielder that I have and I've been having in my team for ages. So see, 13 January 2017 is this player. Again, he's weak stamina because my stamina was the lowest. It was at 5% only. Now I started to raise it. I also at one point I've trained passing, and this guy also got trained. So again, he's 30 years old, and I will have to start thinking on changing him soon. Another player that I have is this guy who's 31 years old. Uh, he's supernatural with brilliant passing. Again, I've been having him since 2016 February, a lot of years. He wasn't really that expensive. I guess he was more like, let's buy something to have in the middle, but he has been serving me well. Same thing with this player who's 28 years old, and again he kind of needs to be changed soon. I changed my winger that I had been having before, so I decided to buy this guy. Again, he wasn't really that expensive. I've been having him since January 2017. And I was looking more of not a winger, but more of a playmaker who has some winger. And I've been playing him as a winger who's towards mid to rise my midfield, basically. Again, something that I need to look into it. And you see, this is what I mean. This guy, I've been using it for ages. I've been transferred this guy for pretty cheaply. For 2015, almost 3 years in November. And he even dropped. I believe he was supernatural. He also got trained at passing when I started to train passing, and again, poor stamina because he's really old. But I'm still playing him, and I shouldn't, but I still am, right? I mean, his stats are not really that great. Maybe he can get 5 stars in the good days. Again, he has no stamina, which is why you see the black, the lower yellow stars, right? So yeah, another goal by Argentina. It's actually the football is happening right now, the France and Argentina, and I just had to make the video during the pause, the break, and I'm still talking. Anyway, so yeah, my middle is like a huge problem right now. I mean, it's starting to become huger. I mean, right now it's only a problem, but it's starting to become a huge problem, which is one of the decisions that I will soonly make. And let me show you my main 3 attackers, which is one of the reasons why I'm planning to do a change soon, and they are one of the reasons why I become so motivated on playing more hat trick. So this guy, I was very irresponsible when I bought it. I bought this guy for 38 million. It was a 17-year-old player, almost last year, like in November 2017. He was a solid scoring with passable passing and quick speciality. He lost a couple of training weeks, so I don't think he's in the books for becoming a U20 player. Maybe, I'm not sure. I've asked them, they haven't. I didn't got any answer. They won't call him anyway yet. But still, he's a very good player, which I am planning on keeping once I'm going to change the training. Basically, what I'm planning to do is stop training scoring when those 3 players that I'm going to show you get to somewhere around extraterrestrial, maybe Titanic extraterrestrial. And my plan is to start training passing and then start training playmaking. and those three players are also going to be trained for playmaking, which is one of the fixes that I want to have with my midfield. I plan on selling all the old midfield players. I won't get too much money on them anyway. I plan on selling the other three defenders, forwards that I have, and with those money, I plan to buy two good wingers that have decent passing skills, meaning passable or solid, and some playmaking. They will be a little bit more expensive. I have to do the calculation when I'm going to approach that time, once I see how much money I will have. And basically, those wingers. Let me. I will talk about the training a little bit later. And this is my beautiful player. I paid for him 25 million. It wasn't a bid war. He already had a bid, and I paid for him. He was solid, scoring with passable passing, and had specialty. The moment I bid on him, I got a message from the scouts of under 20 Andorra. Right, he's from Andorra, asking me if I plan to train him because Andorra doesn't have a big pool of players because there aren't many players playing in Andorra, and I was like, yes, my purpose for this guy is to train him, so he can play for the national team, right? And he's already playing for the national team. He just played yesterday on the national team. This is the match where he played. As you can see, 7 stars. A little bit less stars because of the starting, but on average, he's playing pretty well. And again, this is one of the reasons why I still want to train this guy so he will be able to play for the big national team, right? And the main idea is that I also have this guy for the national team. He's supernatural right now with inadequate passing, and playmaking sucks ass. But I will still try to give him some playmaking later, maybe. And he also got recently called for Uzbekistan, and it was a little bit weird because I contacted the scout once. I got no for the under 20 team. I contacted another player who told me that the coach, this guy will contact me. The coach contacted me. I showed him the player, and he didn't reply back. And 1 month later, he got him in the team. And I was actually checking the national team of Uzbekistan. I was like, this is one of the best players they have. Why are they not getting him into the national? And they got him, and he played yesterday, and he made 7.5 stars. And it's still not the World Cup hasn't officially started. I believe it will start in August, the main qualifiers. So they are still like experimenting with the players, playing them not on their position and so on. So anyway, Mark Ronda also just got 2 week experience, which is pretty good. Usually, players who also play for the national team get even more experience because they play an extra match, which is also for the national, so it's extra points for that. So those are my bread and butter. I plan on keeping Morteza and Mark Ronda for my future team for the upcoming something like 10 seasons, and I'm also planning on keeping Daniel Kukwanesh. So my future tactics will become 2-5-3, but of course, because I'm going to train one of those three guys at passing or at playmaking later, I will also be able to play them during the friendliest. So I will still be able to play a 3-5-2. Yeah, 3-5-2. So let me move forward with the players. Federico Burigana is this guy was also in the. I got a message from the Italian scout, but he told me that he has no chance right now. So I was like, okay, I'm still going to train him, so nothing has changed. But he's one of the guys that I'm planning on selling once he gets to probably Titanic. I will have to see. The thing is that all my as you can see, almost all my attackers, forwards are kind of at the same level, kind of, right? So those are not going to be sold, but Federico is world class. This guy is a little bit behind, so he's kind of the suckiest one. because I had no money to buy a good one, and I bought this guy. Like, he was low solid player. He was really, really, really cheap. I think he even missed a couple of trainings because was still training another player. And this is my sixth one. So yeah, this guy is also magnificent. He's also below because he's 19 and he's only magnificent. But I believe he will rise soon. No, in 5 weeks only. He will go to world class and then supernatural and then in Titanic in 25 weeks. So in so right now the season is 56. Yes, it's 56. It's on 55. So in the season 57 he will be, so next season he will be supernatural, and probably at the start of the other season he will be Titanic, and that's when I kind of plan on selling him. So if this guy will be Titanic in Hat-Trick Week season 58, this guy, because I kind of plan on selling them all at the same time, kind of around here. So this guy will be, let's see, Titanic. This guy will be supernatural. Okay. Maybe I will just, I mean, I can't really change the training because, so let's see, Federico Burigana, he will be, so I will have to basically be at, on this week, on the 12th week, because this is when this guy will also rise. And that's when I will kind of, I'm not really sure. It's going to be a little bit weird on how I'm planning on doing the change. So the main problem right now with the salary is basically this guy, because I was like, hey, let's buy a playmaking that's mythical, because the price is only 64 million, and that's, hey, that's pretty good, right? But the thing is that this guy has an immense salary, a huge salary, and I think I will have to sell him next week when I will get that warning. I will put him for sale, and hopefully he will sell. And then I'm planning on buying something like a 30-year-old guy that will just be in the team for the next 2 seasons or something like that. And yeah, and the rest of the rest of the team are basically my reserves. This is going to be my future coach. He's one of the players that came with the team, as you can see, which is one of the reasons why I plan on making him a coach. And yeah, the rest are just reserves that I'm putting them in the friendly match so the others don't get injured. So yeah, as I've said, the main idea. Let's actually look at the youth team, and I'm not using a youth team. I was thinking on maybe using it since I'm playing Hat-Trick more, but some people have suggested to just keep it the old way. So I'm going to get a new player from the youth, and you know that if you are lucky to get a good player, he's going to sell for a lot. He's not a good player. I mean, he's scoring passable, scoring a winger passable. So, but he's 18 years old. So I'm going to transfer compare. As you can see, they don't really sell. I'm going to sell him, to get him on the transfer market, because some people, I had players in the past that were pretty poor. They sold for 1 million or even less, but people somehow trained them and they now sold for 50 million lei and so on. So yeah, I'm going to put them on the transfer market. So yeah, the main idea is for me to keep training those forwards, sell those other 3 ones, sell, if I can, the inner midfielders that I have, and just buy something like 2 wingers that have a high winger skill, 3 young inner midfielders that also have passing and playmaking. So I train them at passing and then at playmaking, while I train those 3 forwards for playmaking. And probably I will also need 2 other wingers to play, but I will also buy the cheap ones, because this is the main idea. transfer list. Uh, I plan to buy a player that's maximum 19, winger that's something like maybe world class, but he has playmaking and passing, at least passable. And if I search, they are pretty expensive. But the main idea is that I will buy, like, let's say, for example, I buy this guy, transfer compare. I can maybe buy cheaper versions, depends. I'm only showing you an example. But if I train this guy at passing and then at playmaking, when he will be like 23 years old, this player will actually be very, very useful for me stats wise during the match because his winger skill is already pretty high. The downside is that I'm not really sure if I will do that, maybe with only one player or something. Those players are really, really expensive already. If I train this guy for passing and playmaking for something like 4 seasons, he'll be older, but the money that I will get for this player, it's not going to change that much. So the profit margin is not really going to be that interesting. So let's put something like between 21 and 27, and I put something like I will sell the player when everything will be something like world class. You see, this guy is kind of having the same. I mean, the bidding war is still going on, so it still might go up. But this guy is also quick and no bids for this price. And this guy no bids for 130 million. So you see the difference was something like 40 million. Is it really worth it to train them for that much for this kind of money? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I'll have to think about it. Uh, and if I am to buy young playmakers, to train properly, if I put something like solid and let's say passing, at least passable, the price evolves around this. The good ones are go for even higher, but I was looking at about 10 million. This guy is really really good. I mean, he's only 8 days in the 17, so he also has another defending. And look, this guy will be like the bomb to buy because he's also having winger, passing, and playmaking. But if I am to transfer compare him, it depends. Look, like some are pretty low anyway. So I will see once I sell all my forwards. I will really try to see what I can buy to make like a good team. But that's like 2 seasons from now. But I'm planning on changing the transfers to make things much more interesting. So yes, that's wise. Let me actually show you the some matches that I've played. This one was match where I put in the best team. I still played pick, but I played a 2-5-3 and I managed to win 1-0. And as you can see, my stats are not really that high because of the stamina and because the midfielder is suffering because the players are already very, very old. And right now, actually, because I'm not using a proper forward winger, only my central attack is getting proper skill, right? Which is only magnificent high. Also because, as you saw, my players are only supernatural at scoring. So yeah, it was kind of like a season where I sold the old guard, right, of players, and kind of everybody was really really young, right? Usually you want to kind of mix them up, so your reserves become the main players, and the main players you sold, you buy young ones, and with the leftover of the money you buy a defender, a goalkeeper, or a playmaker, or a player that you can't train. Basically, that's the idea. So anyway, I think I've speaked enough about this week. It was also kind of like an introduction to this whole thing, and I guess I will see you next week. I will try to find more things to talk about and show you some stats. But as I've said, this episode has gone long enough. So thank you guys for watching this. See you soon. Goodbye.